So good morning, YouTube. It is I, Danielle, better known as Danielle, the Happy Medium. And in this video today, we're going to talk about personal responsibility. So off the back of a viewer's question and the people asking me about personal responsibility of what is the medium and also the psychic, this is probably one of the biggest taboo areas known in the industry. Personal responsibility is basically what comes out of your mouth when it comes to being a medium and also a psychic. I hear time and time again from the viewers, from the people on my live streams, and from the questions and emails that I get on a weekly, daily basis, where mediums are telling people that their loved ones are seeing all sorts of things, or vice versa. A psychic is predicting death or predicting things that fundamentally cannot be predicted. Death, nobody knows for sure when we are going back to the spirit world. Only the spirit world know when it is our time to go back. So when I hear these kinds of things being said in the industry, or things that are said by a medium or a medium proclaiming that the spirit world said it, I have to frown upon that a little bit. I've heard stories where mediums have told people that, you know, their children are going to drown or die, or they're going to tell people that, you know, their loved ones can't come forward because they're healing on the other side of life. I've heard people say that if psychics say if you don't leave your partner, you know, you'll be dead in the next 6 months. You know, I've heard some quite awful and quite really frightening stories coming out of the industry and also out of the mouths of mediums and psychics there. What we have to remember here when we are doing personal responsibility is that we are ultimately all accountable for everything that is said, and especially to the other party. And what can and does happen is that mediums use a position in which they sit in order to be able to say it is gospel, because these mediums are standing on some kind of platform, on some kind of social media platform, or whatever it may be there. People tend to think that whatever they're saying is true, right, and accurate there. And what tends to happen is the general public is misled, fear is built, and then there's nothing that can be done. And ultimately it is then my job as a medium who understands the spirit world, and other mediums who have good knowledge and understanding of the spirit world, to then rectify and put all of this right. And this can be very hard, because once the mindset is within the fear-based mode, it is really hard to get that mind out. Also, what tends to happen is it puts people off having readings, stops people going forward and having a really good sitting with the spirit world there. And unfortunately, the bad press and everything else that goes with mediumship and mediums and psychics can be justified, because we have people out in the industry saying all sorts of things that are fundamentally not true, cause aggravation, stress, anxiety, and fear, and ultimately holds the general public, which is you, back. What tends to also happen is what I see within the industry is where psychics proclaim that they are mediums, when really all they're doing is reading the auric field of the client who's sitting in front of them, and then saying that it's mother's saying this, dad's saying that, grandma's saying this, grandfather's saying that, when really they don't even have the spirit world with them. And if you were to actually question them as a sitter, you would see that they wouldn't be able to answer your questions. Why? Because there's nobody there to give them the information in which that they need. And what happens is people go away disappointed. They go with generalized, very simple information and are charged top whack for it, and unfortunately go away with very little for the money in which that they've paid. What I would recommend, if you are looking to take a sitting, choose what kind of sitting you're looking for. So is it a psychic sitting, or is it a mediumship sitting? Remember, psychics and mediums are two completely different things, and the general public again are completely confused by these things. And ultimately what happens is they go to a psychic medium hoping to hear from a loved one, and 9 times out of 10 it's more psychic work than it is mediumistic work. So what you should be looking for is an evidential or a spiritual medium if you're looking to connect to the other side. If you're looking for fortune telling, you need a psychic, somebody who's going to predict the future. We do get a blend of both, but to be honest with you, I have to question that a little bit, because what tends to happen is you can't gauge what's psychic and what's mediumistic. So if you use these two skill sets or tools that I've given you, you have a better understanding of what it is that you're looking for. But when it comes to personal responsibility, and this goes across the board for everybody, including myself, What we say, we are accountable for. What we talk about, again, is also what we are accountable for. But do not always take everything that is spoken to you. Do not always believe that the spirit world will predict death or say such awful, awful things. What you need to remember is would your father come through and talk like that when he was here on the earth plane? And probably the answer to your question would be no. And if you're finding these things when you're taking sittings, you should stop the sitting, ask for a refund and say, I'm not happy with this sitting at all, and come away, and you should get your money back, because that is the law. All mediums are under the Trading Standards Act and also under the Customer Trading Standards Act there as well. And where there's an exchange of money, you are entitled to your money back in whatever capacity. Now, unless they've got some kind of, terms and conditions up there, then the law states that you are entitled to your money if you are not satisfied with the goods or the services in which that you have received there. All I can say to you is, with personal responsibility, be careful what you say, especially for the mediums and psychics out there. Make sure that what you're saying is true and accurate from the spirit world. And if you're predicting, make sure that what you're predicting is stuff that is things that can be or should do or will do come off on the earth plane. You should not be predicting death or anything such like that. And if you are, then I would go away and seriously take a look at what it is that you're doing, because you're frightening the general public. So, folks, I hope this has given you a little bit more insight in there to personal responsibility. I hope it's given you a little more insight into the things that go on within the movement and making you more aware and more knowledgeable of the things that go on, because without the knowledge and without us talking about these things, then you as the general public will always be caught out time and time again. There's many people who do not talk about these things. Why? Because they want you to live in a place of fear. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them mediums, and I'm not one of them people who will say them things in order to make a few quick bucks there. And unfortunately, as time is moving on within the mediumship movement, it's becoming more about the money and less about why we do the mediumship movement, and which is to bring love and evidential mediumship to the forefront there. I've been Danielle. This has been Personal Responsibility. I hope you leave me some comments. I'm sure this one will get some big reactions. I'm hoping that, that's the whole point of this video, to open people up and get people talking, because it's important that we talk about these things. Maybe hit that subscribe button and that bell, and I will see you all very, very shortly.